So we were taught to believe that the period is like the main event of your entire cycle, but that's not true. It's actually ovulation. They both can give you some really important health indicators, but ovulation is basically the main event. So throughout your cycle, you have 4 phases. You have your menstrual phase, and then your follicular phase, you have ovulatory phase, and then your luteal phase. In the menstrual phase, your hormones are at their lowest and they'll start to climb. And basically, you have this thing called FSH, which acts on your ovaries and starts to grow little follicles. And these follicles are housing your eggs. Now, one will become dominant, and this follicle will start producing increasing amounts of estrogen. This estrogen will have a nice swift rise, this is in your follicular phase we're in. And then that swift rise will trigger something called LH, which will actually trigger ovulation. And ovulation, once this happens, this follicle, this dominant follicle you have in one of your ovaries, is going to kind of burst open and release that egg. This egg will be in your fallopian tube, and it will be there, and this is where it can meet a sperm, and it will last from 12 to 24 hours. Once this egg dies, if it doesn't meet a sperm, or you don't get pregnant, then you cannot get pregnant for the rest of your cycle until you get your next period. So ovulation, ovulatory phase, this 12 to 24 hours. Leading up to this, we call, like, you say you have a fertile window of around 5 days or 6 days, because sperm can live in you for 5 days. So if like you have sex on Monday and it's Thursday and you ovulate, you could get pregnant. So you do have a fertile window. Ovulation day is not the only time you can get pregnant. This is when your body releases the egg. And now we're in our luteal phase. Once we have ovulated and that egg dies, this empty follicle that used to house the egg is now turned into something called the corpus luteum, which makes progesterone, which holds your uterine lining intact after you've ovulated. And this corpus luteum will last approximately 2 weeks. So once you've ovulated, you'll get your period within like a couple weeks if you don't get pregnant. Because if you get pregnant, the corpus luteum will kind of stay like alive, and it will continue to make progesterone to sustain the pregnancy in the early parts. And if you don't get pregnant, it will kind of just like disintegrate, and progesterone will drop and estrogen will drop, and then you'll get your period. So just to recap is that ovulation is the release of the egg from the follicle in one of your ovaries.